I'm taking one day at a time and wondering when you'll be mine. I keep thinking about you day and night. I must admit it feels so right, right. Give it love, just one more try. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I should do. Having you by my side, without loving you, loving you. Every moment I find that I am always thinking about you. Every moment, nobody does it better. Every moment I find that I am always thinking about you. Every moment you came into my life so sweet. You really knocked me off my feet. I've been elevated, I'm so glad, 'cause you're the best thing that I've ever had, yeah. Give it love, one more try. I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. Having you by my side, without loving you, loving you. Every moment get some wine for later, babe, before heading across the bay. I just can't wait, just can't wait. Sunset heading north, the music sure is grooving. Cruising the Golden Gate, the view is so romantic. We'll check into our room, flowers for me, spinnakers at 8. I just can't wait, just can't wait. Your eyes are incredibly so clear. The stars are out, moon shining in your hair. Boy, I know I just can't wait to hold you close in my arms tonight. Sausalito nights, magic's all around us, baby. Sausalito nights, you and I together, baby. Sausalito nights, magic's all around us, baby. Sausalito nights, love is around us, baby. Strolling boardwalks cool, hand in hand with you, babe. That smile on your face, it's so captivating. Your arms around my waist, the city lights are bright across the way. Just can't wait, just can't wait. Head back to our room, we'll slip into silkies. Relax, go light the fire, pour us both martinis. Make love until the dawn, sleep till noon, breakfast will be late. Oh baby, baby, the incomparable Nick Corleone. Keep it right there.
When my dreams begin to shatter and my everything that matters crumbles at my feet. When I look to the sky and I pray, and I whisper past the clouds just to say, will you be there through the dark? Or will you falter from the start? When there's no one left to call my friend, will you be there to hold my hand? Or will you walk away? When I look to the sky and I pray, and I whisper past the clouds just to say, give me wings, give me wings to fly, give me wings to fly. That way, up in the skyway. Will you be there for me when raindrops turn to storms, when autumn leaves die in winter breeze, and I am no more? Will you give me wings? In the skyway, give me wings.
another day of nothing special, in need of something more. Same old, ain't working for ya. Then you gotta let it go. Yeah, yeah. Time to spoil yourself a little. You deserve to enjoy the life you worked so hard to lead. So why not treat the one who stares you in the mirror? You know you're long overdue for some relief. So why not treat yourself?
Don't wait for someone else. Why not treat yourself? Grab a hold of what you want in life. You got to treat yourself. Just forget all your things to do for a little while. Treat yourself. Why not treat yourself?
Give some attention to yourself once in a while. Ain't nobody gotta know.
No one else to know.
You're so focused on everybody else's life. You forget about your own. Won't you take some time? Take some time to spoil yourself a little. You deserve to enjoy the life you worked so hard to lead.
So why not treat the one who stares you in the mirror?
You know you're long overdue for some relief. So why not treat yourself?
Don't wait for someone else. Why not treat yourself? Grab a hold of what you want in life. You got to treat yourself. Just forget all your things to do for a little while. Why not
Treat yourself.
dreamed up so long? Why not take it? All the gifts you passed on for yourself. Why not? Life is too short for you to hold on. You can't keep it. So go ahead, treat yourself. Guarantee that you won't regret it. Treat yourself. Why not treat yourself? Grab a hold of what you want in life.
Grab a hold of what you want in
Just forget all your things to
life.
do for a little while. Treat yourself. Why not treat yourself?
Treat yourself. You know you got to treat yourself.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is now time for the Indie Live Spot right here on your station GHP Radio, your independent music source.
Free Africa! Ooh,
and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is the Indie Live Spot right here on GHP Radio. And, of course, my name is Gary Fuston, and I got my co-host Ray MAC, Griselda, and Joyce Spencer here. And also we got a guest today. We're very excited about it. And we got Mr. Gary Palmer and also Annie Rodriguez here with us. And they're going to talk to us about the new CD. We've got some music here to share with you today as well. And the name of the new CD is called Coast to Coast. It's a very, very great compilation of some awesome music by a lot of friends of his, which I'm sure he's going to kind of update us here. And so please help me welcome our guest today, Mr. Gary Palmer.
How you doing? So everybody, how's everybody doing today?
Good.
Doing good. Great, great. Thank you for having me. Say hi, Annie.
Hi. Thank you for having me as well. It's a pleasure.
Oh.
Yes, very excited to have y'all here today with us. And of course, as I was telling you guys off air, I'm kind of feeling under the weather today. Just kind of rising back from a 3-day flu. It was pretty rough, but anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So Gary, tell us a little bit about the new CD. Of course, I know we've had you on the show before, and we still play the music from your last CD, and of course this CD here is just it's on the charts, and it's got a lot of great tunes on it.
Oh, absolutely. Since the last time we talked, went back into the studio and had a little help from a few friends that came by and just kind of wrote and produced the material on this CD. What I did differently this time from the last time was the first CD that I did, the Love Me Again CD, was myself and my brother-in-law that just kind of wrote the songs and produced it and everything to the CD. But this time around, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to work with folks that have been in the business, that has done these things in the past, and where I could just concentrate just on playing. And never knowing of the folks that I was going to have in the CD when Annie and I first thought about it. And it just kind of rose up from starting with the Neils, the guitarist Neils, that everyone in the smooth jazz market knows. And I did 2 songs for Neils, Waterfalls and Windsurfer. And so that was the first part of the CD. Then I happened to have an opportunity to meet Mr. Paul Brown, who everyone knows Mr. Paul Brown, and went in to his studios out in California, and then Neil's studios in California as well, and did the song Lisa. The song Lisa was a cover song from Wesley Snipes' movie. I think it was Murder on 1600. And after we did that first song, and I flew back to Florida, Paul asked if I was interested in hearing a couple other songs. And I said, absolutely. So that's when I went back out and we recorded Land of the Sun, which features jazz pianist Bob Baldwin. And it was written by Bob Baldwin, Paul Brown, and a new saxophonist by the name of Daniel Chia. Mm-hmm. So from there, I ended up going to North Carolina to meet with Mr. pianist Tim Watson, and worked on Chicago by Morning with him. I got to then fly to Philadelphia, PA, where I worked with Annie. Help me out, Annie.
David P. Stevens.
David P. Stevens.
See, I always have Annie say, Annie, help me out. I'm getting old.
So we there.
I happened to work with Mr. David P. Stevens on a couple of tracks, and then I worked with my brother-in-law in Augusta. So when we talked about, well, what are we going to name this CD? And we kind of came up with Coast to Coast, only because I was kind of flying from the East Coast to the West Coast, putting this product together. But I was just so blessed, to have, all these pros that took the time out from their busy schedules to be a part of my CD, and it was a great learning experience for me to be able to watch how they do things and how they put things together. And we know what those folks have done previously and even currently now. So it's been a blessing. It really, really has.
That's cool.
Well, I'm going to say something.
May I
I
say
see
something?
that you were a police officer before, or law enforcement. What inspired you to go in law enforcement and then return back to music? Just curious.
Okay.
Interesting transition.
Yes. I'm in the criminal justice field. I was in law enforcement, and I did 25 years. I retired, and then a few years ago, the current sheriff asked if I would come back, but I came back in a different capacity of being on the corrections side, on the detention side of it. So I'm the colonel in charge of all the jails in my county, in Broward County, Florida. And so, and he supports what I'm doing with my music and everything like that. And that's what I love about the man, because he still gives us the opportunity to do the things that we want to do. Mm-hmm. And he's made it possible for me, and really appreciate it. But yes, I've been back for about 5 years. I've been back on the detention side, or the correction side of the house this time, because I was certified in both in my career, because my career started a couple of 10 million years ago in corrections. So
at least 10 million.
Yeah, 10 million. It seems like it's been forever, but that's okay. And just kind of getting back into the field and getting back into corrections. And I have a great staff that I work with. Met some folks within the Department of Detention. There are musicians also. So we as a agency, and there's probably a lot of other agencies around the country, I would believe, that's doing the same thing. But we created a band within the Broward Sheriff's Office Department of Detention. And then we have a band that we go out and we do community events and do things in the community for community organizations or churches or schools and different things like that. So it's just been a fun process since I've been back. But I enjoyed my career and just was able to have an opportunity to kind of go back in a different capacity, and I enjoy it.
Well, that's great. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. That's called favor.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the most important thing about it. And I tell you, my sheriff, he has 3 rules. He says it comes in this order. He says, your God is first, your family is second, and he said your job is third. And he says it's in that order. And he stood by that since day one. And that's why I say he supports what we do. And we go out and we go out in the community and we play, and people see us in a different light, instead of just seeing us just, in uniform or, doing the things that we normally do. And the funny thing about it, when we do go out in the community, we will perform in uniform, and people will look like, huh? They can't figure it out. And then once we start playing, they're like, wow, we didn't know you could do that. So, sometimes that happens, kind of stereotyping, thing that they think you only robotic and do only one thing and not knowing you do other things, because there's people all over the world that you look at them one way, but they can be an amazing thing at another. And that's what's nice about it. So we kind of surprise the folks when we do those things within the community.
I love it. Using music to break down barriers and stereotypes in your form. I love it. But, it's like, for instance, I put everything down for 20 years. Fell in love, got married, had kids, went to work for corporate America. So when I came back, one lady in my church said, when did you have time to learn to play like that? I said, no, that's not how it works. And I had to explain how I played over 20 years ago. Speaking of that, where did you get your musical training, the saxophone, and do you have any other musical interests, like composition and songwriting, etc.?
My dad was a musician when he was a youngster and when he was in the military, and we all kind of picked it up from him. And he taught all of us how to play instruments, and whether it was my brothers, my cousins. So when we were in the young days, when we were kids, we had that Jackson 5 type group where we performed, and we performed all over the New York area and upstate New York and different things like that. So that's kind of where we started our development when it came to music. And then naturally, going to high school and, being in a band, a jazz band, a school orchestra, and then, going to college and being in a college jazz band. So music always kind of stayed with me. And it was always something that was always a part of me. And it wasn't until, I guess, 2015, when actually putting together the Love Me Again CD is kind of when it kind of turned into something else. But music I've always been involved in, whether it's being a musician or just listening to music and just having the love for music. But it all started with my dad, though. My dad taught us first.
What did he play? What instruments did he play? He
played all the woodwind instruments. He played guitar. He played drums. So, wow. This was the funny thing about this situation, and maybe some listeners may know, as a kid, remember you go home and you learn your lessons, your practice lessons. There was no cutting corners, especially with me. There was no cutting corners. I couldn't cut corners, because, sometimes as kids, because you want to go out and play, you want to cut corners and all that. And he would hear us practicing, and he know exactly what we were doing. So we couldn't cut corners. So, that was to me, that I think of it, that's the funny part of the story now. It wasn't funny when I was a kid, because I'm like, oh God, I want to go outside. But but it was like, okay, it's like, I got to get in, I got to practice, and and it was a blessing. It really, really was, and it's funny thing about it, when you look at things now, and something that I share with my kids or with other kids is, you never realize what you have when you're a kid, and just learn just learn to do things and learn to do different things. And besides doing the music, I was involved in coaching on a high school level, basketball. So I tell you, I've been blessed, like you say, to be able to do a lot of different things and to spend time doing other things. And for folks to say that they can't get all this done, I kind of look at them kind of side-eyed, because everybody has an opportunity to do something it is that they want to do, and nobody says that you have to be the pro at it, the best at it, or everything at it, but it's the fact that you're doing something that you enjoy doing, and to me that's the main part, and to me that's what life is all about.
Right.
Let me ask this, Gary, when are you gonna retire and go full time in what you're doing?
I try to say at work I'm going to leave, but then they threaten me. So you can't leave. You can't leave now. My staff, I tell you, they take care of me. We work well together. We and that's the nice thing about it. I do love the job. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's going to be a day where I'm going to pack it in, and to do the music full time. At my age, I don't know. I got to wait and see what happens. I got to see what leads me and what places me where, because I have so many different interests. I started the process of getting behind a microphone now and kind of doing what you guys are doing. And so I enjoy doing that also as well. And but I'm a type of person that I'm always looking to give others an opportunity to do something. So whatever it is that I do, I'm going to do, but I'm always going to make sure that I do it where I can open doors for someone else.
That's what it's all about. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, I have a question for Annie.
Okay.
Annie, how you and Gary hook up? How did you guys get together?
Oh my God. That was 3 years ago. He sent me a Facebook message, and obviously you all know how I am about Facebook. I don't open messages, and finally I kept on seeing, I said, well, and I got curious, so I opened it up, I called him, and we've been working together ever since. He sent me his Love Me CD project. I listened to it. I am not a vocal person most of the time when it comes to listening to vocal music, but I fell in love with his technique. I'm not a musician. I cannot even carry a tune. I can't even whistle a tune. I have been told that I do have a pretty good ear for music, and I loved his technique, and I told him that from the get-go. And then we started talking, and we said that the next album would be a jazz, you know, because in the genre that we're in, there's a little bit for everybody, and that was what Love Me Again was all about, a little bit for everybody. But I figured that if he really wanted to step in and make a difference in the genre and be noticeable, that he had to go a little bit more for jazz. And I love Coast to Coast because it has shown me as a person how he has grown musically. This man is like really talented, and he has in this album we came together with some really good producers that brought a lot of his good out, and I'm getting calls from other producers that want to work with him already, and this album just came out. Because they, as I've seen it then and see it now, see his potential. He is an amazing, and his technicality, and he's very precise about everything. He doesn't do anything half-assed, oh, excuse the word, but he doesn't do anything half. He has to do everything, you know, the way it is. And we know him also personally now. You know, we've become friends, our families and everything. And my daughter, she has this thing that she calls him, and I think it's very appropriate name for him, that he's not just an officer, but he is a gentleman and a musician. And we love every part of that of Gary. His talent, he is one of the most integral persons that we've known. You know, he is like amazing. And this project has shown what he can do and what it's all about. You know, he took the time. He got the order a little bit backwards, but we started with Tim Watson. We went to North Carolina. First, he went with Neil. Then we went to North Carolina. Then it was Paul Brown, and then it was Keita, and which is the current single now, which is Misunderstanding. And everyone was so lovingly wanting to work with him. And like I said, I have all the people that are already calling. Hey, does Gary need a song? Can Gary play this? And that tells me how, you know, the growth. Because when Love Me Again came out, even though a couple of the songs did really well, now people are getting to see. And like I was telling Gary, everything is slow. It's a process because he's new. Not everyone is going to jump because the genre has a little bit of that thing going, you know, let's get the big A names first and this and that. So, but it proves that everything he's done for the past 3 years is slowly but surely catching up, and people are taking notice, and that's what it's all about. And this is really a true great album, and slowly but surely it's succeeding. Land of the Sun was #1 for 4 weeks in a row, and now Misunderstanding is trying to catch up there. Yes, we do have a lot of competition and a lot of other great musicians out there, but that just tells us that we have to work a little bit harder to make it to a spot that we want. But he's done all the work, he's done everything, and there's no other way for him to go but up.
Right. Oh, cool.
That's great. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, shall we listen to one of the tracks right now?
Oh, yes, please.
So do you want what? Which one? Misunderstanding?
That's the current track, yes.
Okay. All right, G.
Okay, we'll do it.
You know what to do, my man.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all get ready. Here it comes. This is Misunderstanding. And our guest here, Gary Palmer. And it's also featuring who is it again?
Keita Matsuno. Well, he goes by Keita.
All right. So y'all check it out, and we'll be right back, right here on the Indie Live Spot.
I just want you to be good.
get into the thingy.
All right, we're back, and we just got through playing a couple of the tracks there for you, and very, very nice. Both pieces, very, very nice. The second one we went into was let's see.
One More Time.
One More Time.
Right.
That was featuring Debbie P. Stevens, right?
Yes, out of Philly.
Cool. Yay! All right.
The gentleman that did the voice, he was amazing. He sounds just like Teddy.
Mm.
Chris, I went,
And even YJ just said, sounds like Teddy.
So Annie, how's the CDs doing? How the CDs doing on your perspective now?
Well, it's the numbers are going up, and that's definitely a good thing. He has picked up so many stations. It's unbelievable. The one thing again that bothers me is the fact that not all the stations are reporting stations. There's only a handful of reporting stations, and then half of them don't even have the time to report, and that's what counts, the reporting stations. But other than that, the album is doing really, really, really well. Its understanding is being heard throughout so many stations that it's unbelievable, and I'm really happy about that. And I work diligently sending it to the reporting station and hope that if they are playing it, please get it together and report it, because that's what counts. So
know about that, don't we?
Did you make it to the post office this morning?
Yes, sir, I did. Yes,
Okay.
sir, I did. Yes, sir, I did. So your CD is in the email. It's in the mail. And if everybody else has me an address, I will send you all your individual CDs as well. Yay! Sister friend, I'll hook you up. Just send me your address, and I'll
Yes,
make sure
ma'am.
Woo!
Say, Gary.
Yes, sir.
Look here, man. Boy, look here. You're going to come up with all this fortune and fame and stuff. Man, you're going to have to retire.
Oh, will you let it go, dude? He'll retire when he's ready. Good.
Yeah, let it go.
You got to get on out here.
I have to admit,
I understand you like what you do.
great setup.
And yeah, you got to start getting out of it. You getting out there quite a bit as it is now, but man, I'm telling you.
Gary, don't listen to him. You do what your heart tells you to do.
Like I said,
It really has been a blessing. And for those that were asking me, who's the guy that's singing, the track on One More Time? And he's out of Philadelphia, and his name is Damon Keith Williams. And he's the vocalist that David P. Stevens got to sing the song. When we talked about doing a song, and we talked about, since we're in Philly, let's do something that had that old Philly sound, and and that's when David came up with the music for One More Time. And then he surprised me because he didn't tell me what he was going to exactly do with the song, and until I did all my parts, and then he added Damon's part in there, and I'm like, holy smokes, he really did give it that Philly sound.
Philly sound.
I tell you, it was amazing. But like I said, it's just amazing to work with a Niels and to work with a Paul Brown, Paul Brown has worked with any and everybody.
Yeah, he has.
To spend time at his home with his family and everything, it was just such a blessing. Same thing with Tim. I loved Tim, what he was doing, how he does things, and even with David. And they were just so patient, because I still see myself, even though a lot of people may not see it, but I see myself as the rookie, it's my first time on the job. And I told him, I'm thick-skinned. If it's something I'm not doing right, tell me. Don't sugarcoat it. Tell me what you got to tell me. I says, I got thick skin. Believe me, I've been called a lot of things in my career. And so that, and that included the touching of me. So that just, so that's a different story. But, but it was a joy to have done something in this manner, never knowing that I was ever going to do this. And to be able to do something to me that will remain with me for a lifetime. So I'm open to what goes on in the future and what happens in the future. And but then again, it's the folks I call the folks on the ground, and it's folks like you that helps independent artists like us to be able to get our music out so people can hear us. Because, you know, as Annie stated, you know, it's we have a lot of stations over there and there's so much music, but it's folks like GHP that helps folks like me to be able to have other folks be able to have a chance and to kind of hear some new music and different things like that. Because as I chat with your folks in the chat room and they're giving, you know, positives, if you weren't there, they probably would not even have heard any of this, and we wouldn't even have. So it's my shout out to you and what you guys do and how you help folks like me. And I'm that same position too, that I want to help others, you know, to be able for them to do the things that they do. So I'm paying it forward, just like the movie. I'm paying it forward, and I always plan on doing that. So I just really want to thank you guys for all that. Really do. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks. Well, you're welcome. Our pleasure.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, that was nicely put. Thanks, Gary.
Yeah, the truth is the truth, right? And that's how you got to call it, and that's how I call it.
You know, your setup on your job, I think it's wonderful because it's not a job. It's what's supposed to be a job is turned into a ministry. So. Yes. I see that as a benefit. That's a blessing because if I had a setup like yours, because my husband works 2 jobs so I can do what I do. So you have that kind of support system. Oh my goodness. I stay with it. And then you have the opportunity to break some barriers. There's just so much going on there with the support system that you have, because many of us don't have that.
Right.
Kind of support system.
And I'm blessed to have that.
Yeah, that's
but like I tell my staff is I'm there to prepare them to take over. So, you know, I'm not going to be there a lifetime. And like I tell them, I don't know when it's going to happen. I may wake up one morning like I did when I retired. Oh, I'm done. And that's it. You know? But I say, but when I leave, I'm going to make sure that you're ready. And ready to take over, and they have and we have that understanding, and so that's what I let them do. And but that's always been a part of me, and that's something in me that'll never change.
And that's what it means. They understand you. They know what you're doing. When I was in corporate America years ago, when I quit, oh my goodness, there would have been no understanding whatsoever. I mean, it's you know, to me, corporate America was just. Like a plantation, you know. I guess I got a check. I could have called myself an indentured slave, but so when you tell me your story, I'm thinking that doesn't happen very often.
No,
you have a chance to do music and support. If you have to go on tour, I'm sure they would work with you. No, I don't quit that. Until the good Lord tells you when to quit, but don't force it. There are a lot of indie artists that are listening and that would love to be in your situation.
Like that.
Yeah. Because every project is enormous. People don't understand the experience that goes into projects, from recordings even to getting replications.
Yes.
You know, the logistics and the money that goes into it. So every time I start a new project, I go, okay, here we go. All right, let me say I'm going to budget this. Let me say I'm going to do this. And that's why I built my studio at home.
Right.
So I can save money. And, you know, great people like David McLaurin teaching me a lot. I learned a lot by error. I messed up. Messed up, you know. You think you could trust somebody to be a good support for you, and it doesn't end up that way. So
yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. So I think your setup is great. It's a blessing, and I think that it'll catapult you to something even greater because you were faithful to stay where you are and serve where you are.
Yeah. And I want to add something really quick, that his biggest fans and his biggest supporter to this date is his dad. He's still so supportive and is his #1 critic. He is still the one that will, you know, inspire him. And not too many people, I mean, yes, all musicians have an inspiration, but his father, I think, has been a big inspiration, and his father is extremely proud of him. So was his mother. I mean, his family is just such a big family, and they all supportive cousins. You see them on the gigs, you know, they all there. He has a great following. I mean, without that, you know, it's useless, and he has all of that. He is very, very fortunate. He is really, really blessed.
Yeah, awesome.
Well,
Gary. Oh, I'm sorry, G. Go ahead.
Yeah, Gary, man, look, it's almost 4 o'clock your time. It's about time for you to get on your gig.
Yeah, I got an event I have. I got to do a sound check in about 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
I have red lights and a siren, so that's okay. We good.
Well, Gary, before you leave, because I know you have to leave to go get to your this gig. Tell our listeners where they can get a hold of you, as far as like your website, how they can get your music, and how to find out where you have like shows coming out.
Okay, the website is Gary Palmer Sax, S-A-X, GaryPalmerSax.com is my website. And on my website, it'll give all the information. We can download the music. It'll have calendar dates. It'll have all my information. You can go to any digital outlet to download, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, you know it. If it's a downloadable, you can get it right there and download it. And it's affordable. Okay? It's affordable. And make sure it's affordable. Let me say one more.
Affordable, okay.
Just want to make sure they understood the words that are coming out of my mouth. But but I have, like I said, I've been doing lately. I've been doing a lot of corporate events for like the Miami Heat with Dwayne Wade, and stuff like that, and with the Florida Panthers with the hockey, and also I've been doing a lot.
He sang the national anthem, folks. He did the national anthem on the sax. October 16th. He played the national anthem on his saxophone, and he was all over the news in Florida, and I was so proud of him.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
And you can reach me there.
And on Twitter. And on Facebook.
On Twitter, Facebook, Gary Palmer Sax. On Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those social media outlets. And you can reach me right there. If you want my number, no. Let's see. No, I really want to thank you. I want to thank all the folks that are in the chat room, that are just sending some positive vibes my way. I appreciate you all, and please continue to support, and please support all your independent artists, because without you in the chat rooms and folks like that, we wouldn't be where we're at today. So I just want to say thank you to the folks in your chat room. Thank you, Vibe. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Gary.
Bye, G-Man. Talk to you tomorrow.
All righty. Everybody have a great day. Have a great weekend, and be safe. And until the next time we talk, and you can reach out to me anytime.
All right, Gary. Will you be careful on your way?
Yeah, I'm on my way. I'm ready.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I hit 12 o'clock. Stop by and holler at you in Fort Lauderdale.
All right. Take care. All right.
You too.
Yeah, Annie.
Yes.
She's like,
yes.
Now it's our time, Annie.
So now it's on you, Annie. You're going to carry it now?
Oh, Lord. I don't trust him at all.
I don't blame
you.
She said, Annie said, Ray, what you going to ask? I said, well, I have no idea what's going on.
I'll hit the button quick. Click.
She was like, bye.
Excuse me.
What do you think, Annie?
About?
Go well for you?
Huh?
Did it go well for you?
Yeah, very nice, very nice. He talks, but he's not, I don't know, he's shy sometimes, and I guess we didn't give him enough time, and I know he's in a rush, so he probably didn't get into in depth of what, all the things that he wanted to get a hold of, talk about, but it was good. It was good, thank you.
I thought it was good.
Yes.
People in the chat think it's good too.
And in case your listeners do not know, he has a radio station, actually 3 now. He started with 1 that he was doing jazz, R&B, and gospel. And then the jazz became, so well heard that, so he started a second one, which is R&B, and then he started also a gospel station. And he has his own couple of shows, and my shows run through the smooth one, WSJR DB. So if anyone wants to submit music to it, you're welcome to do that as well, because he will play it diligently. And he is part of the BMI and part of all that stuff that pays royalties. So, and it is a reporting station, and that's the good thing about it. Like I said before, when Gary do things, he doesn't do them half-assed. He actually does it all the way, and so all the music that is played in his stations are legit, and they are paid for, through the whatever it is called. So yeah.
Great. So are you having a great time representing? Is he your only artist?
Well, at the time when I first got him, he wasn't, and then I started dropping people because I honestly, I have gotten a lot of approaches, but my loyalty is to Gary, and so I have stayed. So I do a couple of other things on the side, as far as promotion and stuff with my company, Keeping It Smooth Management and Promotions. But as far as management, one, he's coming back. Another guy's coming back soon. It was the previous guy that he had some medical issues, and now he's back in the studio. And Gary, and but Gary is and has been my priority for the past 3 years, because I see how far he can go and his determination. He's not just doing it for the heck of it or whatever. This is something that is in his heart. This is something that is his dream, and excuse me, too many cigarettes, and I'm growing as a person and in the business of knowing what I'm doing. We all like Joyce says, you learn by error, and I feel awesome because I have learned so much with him, for him, and it's my dream come true. So it's like, we've helped each other, hand in hand, and we've both learned through trial and error. But I really admire him as a person and as a musician, so that's just me.
All right. So
I was telling Nanny the other day, and when she be moving around, she said, "Well, I'm gonna call you. Don't hear from her, okay, till early in the morning or something like that." I said, "Well, all this moving around, you need to be in an Uber or a Lyft or something, the way you be moving around that city."
Hey, when you have children and you have dogs and you have friends that think you are a cab, I'm hardly ever in place. I have a 21-year-old that she swears by me, and years ago she wouldn't like me. Now she loves me to pieces, especially she wants me to take her everywhere. And from now, I can't stand you to, "Mom, can we do this? Mom, can we do that?" So I'm constantly on the road, and I come home, and then one dog is bleeding. You got to run back out, and then I come back and drop that one off, and the other one is trying to hang himself, so I got to go back out. I mean...
It's a never-ending story with Annie.
I mean, my life is just my life, and I take what I do for Gary very seriously. So DC is getting a lot of venues, a lot of new places that are opening up on the U Street sector, and they're trying to bring that jazz scene back. So I'm constantly out there doing these little things, talking to people, mingling, trying to get my way in, and not me, but him. And that's what it's about. So, and being that I live in the country, in the boondocks, everywhere I go, it's an hour and a half, even if it's the next town over, So and traffic here is horrendous, not like Atlanta or anything else, but it's really, really bad. So yeah, I'm always on the go. Always on the go. So I apologize for not getting back to you.
But that's okay.
You're all right, I promise.
I'm sure you'll get over it.
Yeah.
You never know with that one. He holds grudges, believe me.
Well, he can hold some. Well, put it this way. At first, I thought he didn't have my number, so I called, and he's like, "Hey, Annie." I'm like, "Okay, so you haven't called me in 2 years because you didn't want to call me in 2 years because obviously you have my number." So, hello.
I know, right?
The same thing with Keith. Keith is listening. The same thing goes for Keith.
Oh, he told her to stop.
Tell me to stop.
Oh, he just said, "Do it, Annie, country girl, ride him."
I'm sorry, the poll is off today. I'm giving the full time off.
Just because she lives in the country doesn't mean she has horses,
Right? The horses she has are the ones under the hood in the car. Okay, the whole car with there.
Well, no, we have horses and cows. Not that I own them, but they, any given day with the sun, you could see them out the window. So yeah.
Oh, now he says to hush up, and he's laughing. That's the wrong thing to tell her, Keith. I'm sure you.
I'll strain him out later. Tell him if he gets voicemail, it's because he's been blocked.
Watch out, Keith. I think you met your match. And she's a tough woman. You should see her puffing right now. She's
damn, that's right. That's the whole thing about this crap. I do not like Skype. Y'all can see me. That was the first thing my daughter told me. She goes, "Make sure you wear a brassiere. You will." You have to do that. Wearing lipstick is not enough. You have to make sure the girls are set up right.
Well, Annie, if it helps any, don't think why I have makeup on today. Immediately, I'm running to a gig, and Gris is on her way out to run errands. So we're in pajamas. Hair ain't right.
Really, that's what we are wearing our PJs.
Right.
That, I think, is the most amazing thing about working from home, that you could do what you want to do anywhere you want to do it. Okay?
Yes.
Except when you get into Skype, from the waist up, you have to look right.
You have to look right. So make sure
from the waist up.
That's right. And I kind of enjoy that, because my kids are all grown now. My son is in college. And I used to tell him, when I'm picking you up after school, please be ready because I have my Walmart clothes on.
What's that on the side of your head, Joyce? What is that?
It's her lady flower.
Was that a...
I don't even see your head.
What's that on the side there?
All I see is that shiny forehead.
Yeah, that right. Oh, okay.
That is cute. Yeah, that is cute.
You see, all you see is Mac's forehead. What's up with that, Mac?
Looks like he rubbed some of that greasy ribs or something on his forehead. Either that or I'm making him sweat bullets. Let me stop.
All of the above.
I love you. I love you, Annie. Annie.
Now see, Ann, I told you after that interview, and if you hung in with us, and you see how wild it get. Wild and crazy.
Hey, I've heard some shows that I'm like, I gotta turn this off.
Oh, get clean. That's the only one that cuss on the air.
Yep, he's always throwing the S-bomb. Always.
Yeah,
Oh, and Joyce, are you familiar with the movie Bye Bye Birdie?
I don't remember. That's an old movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
when you sing I love you, Annie, and it kind of went. My brain went into, we love you, Annie.
Okay, here comes the Annie's jokes. Okay, I'm glad you're being entertained well today.
That's all right, Annie. Well, speaking, you mentioned something about the national anthem. If I may interject something here, do you think the media has been
oh God,
too hard on Fergie?
On who?
On who? On Fergie.
I didn't even hear her.
Huh?
I didn't even hear her. I'm gonna tell you something. I do not watch news. I do not watch any television that has anything to do with politics.
Thank you.
Because it depresses me. It's bad enough that every time you turn on the TV, a child is being killed, an adult is being killed, the racism, all of that. I do not deal with it because life is not about being depressed 24/7. I have my own issues and I don't need to deal with all that, and it scares me, and I don't want to live my life scared. And it's a bad thing in a way because, like, my daughter lives in New York, and when something happens in New York, she goes, "Mom, you didn't even call me to see if I was okay." Well, you're calling me, so obviously you are okay. I'm sorry, Mom, you have to listen to, you're not an ignorant person, you have to listen to the news. No, I don't. Because I do not like to hear what president said what, or what person did this and what person did that. Things that are of interest, like what happened the other day in Florida, that I cried for days, and every time, and I took all the notifications off my phone because every time there was something going on, and it's depressing. And yes, I have to stay real to what's happening in today's world, but to me, reality is music. Music is what makes me happy. My dogs is what makes me happy, and my children is what makes me happy, and my friends is what makes me happy. And all these sad things that are going around in the world, it's sad, and I try to be ignorant of it, you know. So no, I don't know when Fergie sang what. I'm sorry, I didn't even know she sang anything or did anything.
No, but thank you for all that. But she I was about to say that I think they overdid it when it came to Fergie. I was actually tired of hearing about it. Every time I saw something on Facebook, I keep scrolling. I sit down to eat dinner and turn on the news. Here it is again. It's everywhere, and I'm like, okay, you didn't like the way she sang it, move on. And I thought
it's a free country. They, you know, you could, if she sang in her way or did whatever she did, you know, it's her. If again, there'll be somebody else in the next 10 minutes to replace whatever she did. They're gonna do it better. They're gonna do it worse. We are such critics. Everybody's gonna talk about something at some time or another, and they should let it go.
But yeah, I thought it was too much. I said, okay, hear about it the next day. And I'm still hearing about it. And I'm hearing about it again. I said, you know what? Why? It's almost like we need to tear down somebody when they make an error to make ourselves feel good. Mm-hmm. Like you have never messed up something in your life.
Right.
And I don't think it should have been that.
Well, what did she do? What? Now you get me curious. Now I got to go look
she sang the national anthem. I know. She sang the national anthem, and she did it in like a sultry kind of way. And I guess a couple of notes might have been flat.
Where did she perform it, Joyce?
Huh?
Where did she perform it?
NBA All-Star. All-Star. And, but I thought, okay. I mean, I've been doing gigs since I came back in 2010, and not every one of my gigs have been perfect. And I learned that you can go to a venue, we have a sound system, and their sound system is not great. I had a gig where the sound man left. house down. We don't know how to do it. So my last set wasn't that great. But, and that's what I mean. I don't know. But like my husband, he said, they already knew what the was when they booked her. If you didn't like her style of singing, you should not have booked her. But I think she's going to be fine. I just thought that the media was too harsh. I mean, you see it. Okay, that happened. Now move on. So, I mean, that was my opinion about it. I said, okay, I'm so tired of hearing it. It's so funny because I actually agree with you. It was like, okay, can we move on to something else? Mm-hmm. Now, what happened in Florida at Parker High School, that warrants a moment of thoughts, prayer, and respect. That is so totally different. Like you said, you thought about it. That is different. But the way somebody sang the national anthem, I'm really like, okay, can we just move on?
That's like another question I have for you. Maybe, I don't know if this is a time or place, but about the Grammy Awards. Mm-hmm. Why doesn't jazz have performers? Okay, why didn't Jeff Lober perform? Somewhere. Why does it have to be all about the R&B or the country? Why is it that the country? I see your hands moving. Why is it that the country western, whatever they call, which I love country music. I'm not gonna lie. I could do country and a 2-mean step anytime. But why is it that they have their own Christmas special, summer special, let's get out of the rain special? They have all okay, and jazz, which is a traditional music for a country from a long time, from the beginning of time, and it has so much depth. Why don't we have our own shows? Why are we not represented at the Grammys? Why is it that we have to, I love Bruno Mars, okay? That's my homie. But why couldn't someone else from the jazz genre perform that day or any given day or any given time, even if it was outside the daggone Madison Square Garden in the corner, perform? I don't care how, but why is it that we, the jazz people, are not represented during these shows?
They think it's probably it's not enough money in there. You don't have enough participation in jazz or whatever the case may be. That's what they think.
And they don't even announce it during the show. They get announced before or whatever in a little closet in the corner. Oh yeah, and so won this. Mm-hmm. That's why I do not watch that either. I know. Because that's overrated. But then that's
it's so politicized in the Grammys. They rather have what they do out there. Some of them can't even sing. Put it that way. They use auto-tune, so it's just. I agree with you,
Annie. Though that's not fair, is it? It's really not fair.
No, it's not. It's not, because we have amazing musicians, and it's not just the independents. I'm not talking about independents. They could have put Gerald. They could have put Najee. Anybody. Okay, anybody could have gone out there, because we have some great musicians in the genre. Yeah. I don't care if it would have been classical. I don't care if it would have been straight ahead. I don't care what. But have us
there.
Yeah, representing, not in the background. We're not background people, and we should stop being treated as such.
Hello.
Yeah.
And I want to put that on Facebook so bad, but I don't want people to talk about me. So, and that's no. And I'm very people talk about me enough. Thank you. If I get political, if I get really stupid and start putting the things that I think on Facebook, no, I would never have the friends I do, because I'm very opinionated about a lot of the things that are going on in the world nowadays, and that is one of them. And when Jeff Lober and Jimmy Haslett, my favorite guy in the world, and Andy, I don't know if you all know that I just love Andy's Knits to Pieces, and I was so proud of them, and I thought that they should have been recognized on that on the show itself, But it is what it is.
You just think that if the independent artists and the jazz artists start speaking up and protest the Grammys and stuff like that, they might decide to do something.
And I recorded it for one reason. I don't know if you all watched it. In memoriam, they didn't even have oh my God, please, Lord, please, Chuck Loeb on the in memoriam. They did not have Chuck Loeb, and Chuck Loeb passed last year on July 30th.
Yeah.
They didn't have him, but they had all these people that did, you know, the soundtracks to Mickey Mouse Club and all these other people, but they didn't have, you know, Chuck Loeb, and that really, really hurt me. So I don't know.
Surprised. It really boils down to the money. When you look at how record labels operate, how they look for young people with a certain image, certain sound, and with all due respect, many of them have to sell their souls. And they do reach the top 10, #1 songs. They make millions and millions. Some of them come out of it alive and some don't. And whereas jazz artists, for the most part, not into that, if you will. But
how many gossips do you see about jazz artists? How many negative gossips do you hear about jazz artists?
Well, the media doesn't play fair, unfortunately. And if we start spending money, for instance, how many people are buying jazz, going and downloading jazz music?
And that's another thing. And that's definitely another thing. I don't think that we should have allowed for music to be downloaded. I don't think music should be downloaded. I think you should carry your little bus to a record store or order it online. But this live streaming, I think is ridiculous.
Well, you know, that what they should go back to is more in the distribution, regular distribution instead of online distribution. But you know, if as far as the jazz music go and stuff like that, it's more popular overseas than it is here in the States, because you know it's more politicized here in the United States than anything else as far as the music go.
And that is very true. That is very true, because I notice a lot of overseas radio stations love to play Gary, and a lot of overseas stations listen to Gary's station and stuff like that. The people overseas, and being there overseas for 20 some years, there was no I want to go see this show because that he's an A artist, and they don't categorize music or musicians like we do here in the United States, and that's sad.
Well, it's very sad, because if you notice, you know, back in the day when it was terrestrial radio, you know, they just
some sick folks. You don't know that, right?
Throwing all these different genres out there. You know,
some sick folks.
Like Friends.
This one got throat lozenges and drinking stuff. That one's coughing. The other one is still sweating bullets up there. Oh my God. I'm trying to. Griselda must have hay feet because she keeps on rubbing her poor baby eyes.
Allergies. Those are my allergies.
Oh my God. You're some sick folks.
Aren't you glad you're not in the same room with us?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just coughing along from cigarettes, but damn, y'all got it going on.
Something that David McLaurin wrote.
Are we on air?
Yes, ma'am.
We're on the air.
Yes, ma'am. We're on the air.
One thing he said, jazz needs to have its own award show, and I agree. What he said something else after that I thought was profound.
Tell a story about an artist.
Yes. But the problem is so much eliteness and competition in jazz, it will never happen. What could, you know, I mean, I could tell you some more stories of what I had to go through trying to get in the business. How this guy unplugged my mic. I've had people step in front of me. One event I went to, the man wouldn't let me park and unload my equipment in the loading zone, but he let the guys do it. Wow. So there's some dirty stuff going on. And that's why when, what's his name, Terrence, the actor Terrence, when he was in the movie It's Hard Out There for a Pimp, I changed it as Hard Out There for a Chick. And so, I mean, but David, you're right. And I think that the eliteness, I mean, another case in point, we went to a place here in Dallas that is known for jazz, for the most part, straight ahead jazz. And some friends of ours said, oh, could you meet us there? I said, yes, because Arlington Jones was playing. He's phenomenal.
Yes, he is. Yes, so, he is.
We said, oh, we're going to be there. So we walked in the building. He said, you can get your tickets over here. We go to the ticket counter. And the lady said, your name, please. Well, maybe our friends,
Queen Elizabeth,
be this couple coming in, and I want you to make sure that they sit over here or whatever. So we gave our names, and she goes down the list. I'm sorry, but we don't have your name. And meanwhile, my husband has his credit card in his hand. He said, can we buy a ticket? Oh, ha, 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 ha.
Wow.
You know how you just stop and look and you're thinking, what just happened here? Did I get snubbed because we didn't look like we should be at a place where there was traditional jazz when that music came from my neighborhood, if you will? So I said, did I? And because you're kind of in shock because that's not even on your mind. So you're trying to process that. So you can't say anything because you don't understand what's happening. Enjoyed the show. It was really great.
But you know something, though, Joyce, a lot of the jazz clubs, and I've been quite a few of them anyway. If you're not in the right attire and you don't look the part, they don't want you in there.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? They don't want you there. But now you look at these days, the jazz artists not in suits and ties and tuxedos. They coming in some slacks or some blue jeans and a sweater. Mm-hmm. To perform.
We're not at this venue. You can't come in. This is. But
Walmart clothes.
No, clothes. I would suggest that they might take it.
It's very top shelf, as they say. This is more for the elite.
Yeah, but I was just really shocked, and even I get snubbed for a woman holding a saxophone. Still, I mean, oh my goodness, can y'all get over it? You know what I mean? There are too many of us coming out now. Get used to it because we're not going away.
And the more and more, the better, because it is very competitive out here in all the aspects of the genre, but in jazz especially, because there's so many few venues. There's so many few of anything when it comes to jazz, and it gets competitive. And then, to my understanding, the venue owners, they have to make the money. So, of course, they're going to want to get the big names, okay? But you don't know the following of the independent artists. You don't know the following of that person, period. I've seen shows with big names that have gathered, I will say, 68 people in the show.
Right.
So it's not about the name. I guess it's about the following or the venue situation, or, where it's situated, the location or whatever. But regardless, I feel that these venues got to swallow their BS and open the door a little more to independent artists. And I think they should stop kind of like getting 20 people in one stage just to save money and just to make, as to where they come, winning versus the artists, I know a lot of artists that have played for free just so they could get in a particular venue, and that's not right. That is not right.
See, those venues, those people that runs a lot of them venues, the clubs and stuff like that, they don't really want to pay the artists. They want to pay the artists $200. How many people is in the group? Maybe 4 people. They want to pay those 4 people $50 for 2 hours or longer. They don't want to spend no money. They don't want to spend no money on the artists.
No, they don't.
But when you start charging for, if you got your own venue that you don't pay for, you can pretty much charge whatever you want to charge. You can charge $25, $30, $40, But people act like they don't want to spend that money too.
I mean, there's a way you can be creative. Robert Porter just said there's enough for everyone, and I do agree with that. And we don't have to be like that. Like Gary Palmer said, you know, he's going to help somebody else, and I think that's how it should be. And because his support system is beautiful. It really is. I mean, I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, he's the envy of the ball right now in terms of his support system. I mean, David McLaurin could probably tell you how my support system has been. If it weren't for people like him and Sam Hankins and that I can call on, I don't know where I would be. My Many Colors would have never been released. When you have people sabotage your project that you paid them to do, and you're going, oh my God, what do I do now? You know, it can be rough. And so we need to cut all that out and just respect that everybody, I don't care where they are. I think that, what's her name? Bridget from Coffee Talk Jazz. I love her the way she treats people. She said, I don't care where they are, what level they are, I would treat everybody equal. And I agree with that because every single person has the right to pursue their dream. Whether you play like Gerald Albright or somebody who's just starting out, it doesn't matter. Everybody has the right to pursue their dream. And there is enough for everybody.
And they let you, and they would let you, but they would tell you also, you could pursue your dream somewhere else, not in my venue.
Right.
And that's wrong. That's wrong.
And I think the thing is to discourage you. I mean, people have egos. The only way they can feel superior, I mean, good about themselves, is to make sure they feel superior to you. And like, I'm dangling something, you will never. And that has happened to me because Gary and Gris, they already know the story. Someone tried to tell a local promoter that I just heard this lady, she's awesome. Please, I want to introduce y'all. And he wouldn't even look at me. So he held up a card and he said, well, do you know her? That, in other words, that's the kind of people I have in my venue. And it was Mindy Abair.
What?
And the guy was like, the man that was introducing me was so embarrassed. He stuttered. He was like, in other words, do you realize what you just did? You told her because she didn't look like this, she would never make it.
That's sad.
No, my hair is not blonde. I don't want it to be.
I could make it. I could make it blonde if you want me to, but just, hey, you know, there's a L'Oreal 55 somewhere. No, that happened to me in Georgia. And this is not relevant, but it happened to me in Georgia. I went to a beauty shop and I said I wanted a haircut. And she told me, she says, we don't do black hair. And I said, but my hair is blonde. And she says, but we don't do black hair. I said, I only have black roots. I was really getting nasty by then. And I knew what she meant from the first thing that came out of her mouth, but I was playing right along her game. I said, well, it's like a reddish blonde. She goes, no, but we don't do black hair. I said, what do you mean by black hair? Do you see any black hair? And she goes, oh, I said, because I'm Hispanic. And but we still don't do black hair. And you know what? I didn't want to get locked up in Georgia, so I walked out.
Yeah. At least she said to me, she said, oh, we don't do ethnic hair. That's what they tell us.
No, she just told me we don't do black hair.
Ethnic hair. I said, okay.
I said, do you see any black in it? That's why I color it, because I don't want the black in it. Hello? And now it's gray, so no.
Yeah. Or I walked into a makeup store. What is the standalone makeup? I forget what it's called. I walked in and she said, oh, and I'm a light-skinned sister, right? And she tells me, I don't think we have any makeup your color. Wow. I said, okay. I did what you did. I said, I'm just going to leave. Because I was in a city that has a reputation of, you know, and I didn't need to get caught up in there. If you know what I mean.
It's sad. It's sad.
It is sad. She told me, I don't have any makeup your color. Oh, well, all right. So, But anyway,
I would have answers for that, but
You should have just asked her for some cover girl.
it wasn't Merle Norman. That's what
Merle Norman.
And it was a
well, we know not to shop them.
And I do have makeup my color. I mean, but she looked at me and she said, "Oh, yeah." I'm like, "Okay, whatever."
Like, I've been wearing makeup all my life, my dear. What do you think? It's crayon? No.
Oh,
I mean, come on.
you know.
Yeah, I have. Since we have some really intelligent people here today, I have another question. And I was listening to a radio show on my way home from Arkansas, and the man, the host said he was in a club with two of his buddies. They got together this club so they can have a good time, have some drinks, talk, hang out. And there was a comedy thing going on across the room. He said one of the guys came over to him and asked if they could be quiet. There's a comedy show going. The question is, if you're in a club, not church, all right, not a wedding. If you're in a club, is it okay? What do you think? Is it okay for them to ask you to be quiet? And that actually happened at a venue here in Dallas where the guy stopped and said, "Could y'all be quiet?" But it's a club. It's not a restaurant. It is a club with a bar. So what's y'all's take on that?
Well, I personally go to a club, a comedy club, because my luck, I will get picked on by the comedian, and see, that ain't happening. So
I probably would have looked at him and went off on him.
Somewhere and say, "Yeah, let's go pick on her." No, I think no, I will never do that. Nope.
You would never do what? You wouldn't say anything or act?
No, go to a club, a comedy club. Hell no.
It was a comedy club. They just had a comedy act there, and the host he thought it was rude. He said, "This is a club. I'm on the other side of the bar, and why you shouldn't have to ask me to be quiet."
No, that's wrong.
And I don't know if I could do it though. I mean,
no laughing either.
Well, there's going to be some talking.
See, I'd have went off on him. I'd have just went off on him. Period.
No. What a shock.
And walk out without paying the bill.
Oh, he was talking to somebody.
Give him something to really talk about.
When
and it depends on how much. I mean, when people get together at clubs, they will talk, even at a restaurant. And I think it depends on the kind of music that you're playing. If you're playing laid back, straight ahead jazz, people are going to treat it as background music. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it just depends. So sometimes, although yes, I think you should be respectful to the performance that's on stage. But when you're in a small club, when you're in a concert hall, yes, definitely, you need to be quiet. But I'm talking about a club, small club with a bar, people are hanging out, that people are going to do some talking. And if you're playing really soft, laid-back music, you may get even more talking. But if you're upbeat and you're engaging the audience, then they will be more into your performance. So you really have to use wisdom and treat each situation on its own merit, because I think it can end up turning people off.
Well, Joyce, that you go to some of the clubs and things like that, and the music's so loud that you can't even hear yourself think. Mm-hmm. That's not a good thing. You want to be able to have a conversation with the person that's sitting next to you also.
Right.
Where you can talk.
And that's a very good point. Band needs to back it down. You have to understand, what was the intent of the venue? For instance, I played for mixers, for politicians and mayors and council people, and when they booked me, I was booked for background music. So I knew going in there, and it was solo. I have my system set up, plug in my iPad, and I got my tracks, and I'm doing soft music. So I know not to play to jam on Parliament. I'm not playing no funk like that. It'll be to my
no P-Funk, man.
No P-Funk, none of that. So I'm playing soft, straight ahead, ballad.
That's a big old butt. Oh yeah.
No.
No apple bottom jeans with the boots on the fur.
So rude. No
right.
On fire.
That's right, Henry. No funk. But and so I know that no one's going to be paying attention to me because I'm in the corner and I'm providing atmosphere. So in that case, I have no right to tell anybody to be quiet. But what I have also noticed, when you think the one is listening, they really are, because when it's all over, they'll come over. Oh, you were really good. I enjoyed it. Can I have your card? So that's what I say. You really have to really be careful, because what if I had said, y'all need to be quiet because I need to be heard? Nah, they wouldn't have come to me for my card.
Right.
So, but I don't mind. But there was a lady there who was a vocalist, and she told me, I don't know how you could do it. I can't sing and nobody's listening. And I wanted to tell her, they pay me very well to sit in that corner. and again.
Well, you gotta be careful with that, because remember, nobody put Bobby in a corner.
But you're in a corner, but people still notice you there. You think they don't notice. Mm-hmm. They really do. They do know you're there. But these are politicians and mayor and the council people, and they're getting together. They want to talk business. They're trying to promote, and they want me to keep the atmosphere. And they think it was a beautiful thing. I'm like, oh, that is so nice. One lady at a fundraiser at a big mansion, she said, oh, you made my party great. Because it was something different to have someone on the side play. So when I know that's what it is, I don't have a problem with it. Besides, those gigs pay a lot more than
a regular gig.
Yeah. So I need to fund my projects. I'm going to work.
That's awesome.
So, what do you think about some of the other artists? You done went to a venue and applied for the gig. Then here comes somebody else. Give you a lower cost.
Oh, that happens.
Boy, that happens. So
that's nothing you can do about it. That's nothing you can do. I just don't. I'm gonna be like Annie here. I just like, let me move on. Moving on.
Yeah.
Let me be creative. I say, this is what I say. I say, God, you're my source. You help me figure this out. So I don't hold on to those things. I've had people take my gigs. A member of my band went behind my back and took my gig, and I just moved on. We just don't play together anymore. But I moved on.
I mean, I go to places and I'll be like, I would like to get a gig for this person or that person, and they ask me, well, do you know this person? We'll get your persons in if you can get me this guy. And wow. I'm like, well, here's this guy's PR person. Oh, no, I want to go through you because I don't want to have to pay the PR person that amount of money. And I said, well, then you SOL.
Right.
Because it's not happening. He's going to charge you the same thing whether he goes through me or whether he goes through them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they have a game going.
Yes.
And it's sad. It's sad.
In every city, all the venues, I'm finding out that the venues get together and they talk about what you're paying this band. So everybody knows what you're getting over here, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, there's a lot of game. And I think that's what David was talking about. We need to get out of that and taking this seriously and respect everybody's talent. And whether somebody respects what I do, if I'm at a venue, I don't... For instance, I was playing with somebody else in a friend's band. In the background, the guy said, here's my card. Call so you can play here. So what I did was I called her, told her what happened, and asked, because I told her I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't even want it to appear like I was trying to take her gig. And she said, oh, no, I would really love for you to play there. But I said, but I want this up front. Now, whether somebody does that for me, I don't really care. Because at the end of the day, Joyce Spencer has to answer for Joyce Spencer, and I like sleeping at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and if I get accused of something I didn't do, I don't even worry about that either because I didn't do it. Period. Just move on. But anyway.
Oh, and when we are on, I want to, and I don't know if Keith is still on, I want to thank Keith for being such a supporter of independent artists. He is awesome. He is an amazing individual, and he's cool. He's real good, and on behalf of a lot of the musicians, because I'll be talking with them, and they'd be like, "Yeah, and Keith did this, and Keith did that." So thank you, Keith, if you're listening.
Lord B. Well, you guys, I don't know how much more time we have left in the show.
9 minutes.
Well, I have to go. Okay. Oh, that rhymed. How cool is that?
Well, I gotta go too because I have a gig. To take a child to take her boyfriend somewhere. I'm sure.
You're gonna play taxi again?
Oh. He's visiting from North Carolina, and it's time for him to go back.
Okay.
Small favors, God, thank you. And so I'm gonna have to be driving them around, and but I want to say thank you to all of you for having Gary on today's show. I'm sorry it wasn't longer. I'm sure he would have loved to cut up with us because he is pretty good once he gets warmed up. And thank you for playing his music, and I hope that you guys can continue playing any of the songs that are on my album, and our listeners did enjoy the album.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We definitely will, and we appreciate you and Gary for coming on today and sharing. So.
And eventually, Up Close and Personal with Latin Jazzy will come back. If I could just get this mess here together. I've done the whole house, and the last bit is my office. So eventually I will get that back on, and hopefully I could have you guys on the show and return the favor and come cut up with me for a little bit.
All right. Oh, yeah. So definitely. Definitely.
Would love to.
Mm-hmm. Not Ray though. Not Ray. Not Ray. I don't see him no more. Is he still sweating, or is he cleaning up the sweat off?
He's probably cleaning it up.
Well, laid out somewhere. But yeah. You guys are lovely, and I'm glad that you guys asked me to come in.
Anytime. Joy.
No, not anytime. This was a one in a time. It was a once in a lifetime thing. I've been put on the spot. See, I like my shows because I don't get to see nobody. But I really enjoyed it. Thank you, because I hadn't done Skype in forever. So thank you for this opportunity to see you guys and share this time with you. It's been lovely. And it's beautiful to see Griselda.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
And to meet Joyce. I mean, I don't get a chance to do these things often, and you guys have given me a privilege. I really will, I really love it. And thank you, Fuston.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
So welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah. Well, why don't you give us another selection to play from...
Out yet.
What have you played so far? Let's see.
We played Misunderstanding, One More Time.
You could play Land of the Sun.
Okay.
Why are you shaking your head there, Greasy?
She's talking to you, Ray.
I've been telling them to be quiet ever since they've been up, and they just do whatever they want to do. Shit.
See, there goes the S-bomb.
You didn't thank me, Annie.
Thank you, Ray. This one has happened without you. I know
she doesn't want you on her show.
And everything. I have thanked you over the phone. I have thanked you via text. I have thanked you via email. What else do you wanted? You wanted in blood, darn it?
Yes, he does. Now he's not even listening because he's yelling at somebody at home.
Yeah, I know. Put the headphones back on, sweetie.
Okay. He's arguing with his family.
Wow.
Goodness.
I think old Rays are like that because my brother is a Ray too, and he a little bit wacko. Just take the headphones off. Don't take anything else off, okay? This is still rated. This is child rating.
Bad enough he's wearing his wife beater shirt.
It might be literally his wife's shirt. And he stopped. See, I know. That takes a lot to keep you quiet. Thank you, because I don't want to see the replies to that. Thank you. Mic off. You can't even talk.
We can't hear you, right?
No, I just basically just had got out of the shower, and then my son come over, and I had him to do something, and I just threw this on. I was gonna put on the shirt because I'm going to the movie.
In that shirt?
No.
See, you wanted me on. I'm on.
Sitting at home.
Full.
You know, you remember earlier when you were saying that when you're sitting at home and doing what you're doing like this, you can almost be any way.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to
nobody's watching me, darn it. I'm watching you.
I know.
It's kind of intimidating. It's kind of scary. It's scary.
Let the dogs out on Ray.
That's too much skin for me.
This is that cover up.
All he needs is a bowl. All he needs is one little pole next to him, and he'll be set. What are you wearing to the movie? Your Superman outfit? Your little black leotard?
No, I'm
gonna be the Panther.
Some jeans, some sneakers, and
ooh, that's an image.
That's it.
Oh, okay. Nothing else? Just sneakers? Damn.
Now, Gria's like this. She like this.
No, I don't.
Oh, Lord. You had that one coming.
That's good.
Yes, right. Ninja Ray has met his match.
I just knew that as long as I wore a brassiere, I was good. There was nothing else going on.
All right, well, it's about time for us to go on.
I didn't even realize we were still on there.
Well, yes, we are. Yeah, we're getting ready to say goodbye. You might as well say our goodbyes now.
Yeah.
What happened to Joyce?
She had to take off.
Joyce been gone. Where have you been?
Yeah.
Another part of the house.
Okay. Well, it is time for us to close out. So, again, Annie, thank you so much. You were so much fun, and it was great talking with you. And plus Gary too. We love his music. We're definitely going to keep supporting it over here as well. And like I said, you're always welcome. So, everybody have a great weekend, and I'll pass it over to you guys.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Welcome. All right, Ray.
Ray.
Thank you, Ray. If that's what you're waiting for, thank you, dear.
You're welcome. No, y'all just have a good weekend. Hope y'all ain't got any ice or snow wherever you're at, because it's been a monster down on this end, that's for sure. But you know, see y'all next weekend, and y'all be safe out there.
Yeah, everyone, thanks for being here. Our listeners that are anonymously listening, tuning in, thank you. Our chat room gang, thank you guys for being here and for keeping us entertained as well. Love you guys back to the moon and back. Come, make sure you invite a friend next week and join us again next week so that way we can have some more laughs and great music. All right? Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. And we'll see you next week.
To be said that, thank you so much. It was a pleasure seeing you again.
Thank you, Annie. It was nice seeing you. All right, let's close out the show with Land of the Sun from Gary Palmer.
All right, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Ciao.
When she was mine.